Hey everyone, welcome to the Gamers Realm podcast. We are episode 20. Congratulations to all the guys and everyone just to, we've been working hard from episode 1 and here we are today. I want to welcome from the beginning, let's get the co-host here with Retro Styles.
Howdy, how you guys doing?
One Up Level Up.
Hey, what's up, guys?
We have the QA Ninja.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Myself, Mr. Switch, and our special guest, Zap Cristal.
What up?
And how is everyone doing today?
I'm doing
Awesome.
good. Doing good.
Doing good. Retro, you take it from here.
All right, so Crystal, we're gonna make you pass the test.
Here we go.
No pressure,
Here we
no
go.
pressure.
Okay, no pressure. Drum roll, please.
Let me breathe.
Go take a deep breath. All right. The big question is, we want to know a little bit about your gaming history and why you got into video games or nostalgia.
All right, let's get into the goodies, boys and girls. So usually what I always say to everyone is I grew up in a family of gamers, hardcore gamers. My mom is a gamer, my dad is a gamer, my brother's a gamer, everybody's a gamer at home. We were known to be the Nintendo family. So if you were in the 90s, you know exactly what I'm talking about, this war, between Sega and Nintendo. So we were the Nintendo group.
Oh, we were too.
Yeah, I mean, hashtag I'm kind of like a traitor, but Nintendo. And and it was a little bit of nostalgia. I think it all comes down to how everybody when they get into gaming, like what is your main reason? Some people love the history of gaming, some people compare it to the friendships and good moments they had. And my reason why I am so passionate about gaming is because that was my time that I got to share good quality time with my dad. That was the time I used to sit down with my dad. My dad is a musician, so it was very little the time I had to have to like spend with him, that was totally uninterrupted. You know what I mean? So the way we would connect was through gaming. My dad was the person that introduced Miss Pac-Man to me when I was very young. He was the one that would take me to the arcades. And then my mom was the one that would always try to find games that would help us stay together as a family, because I fought a lot with my brother, because my mom was usually the one that would set the timer, because my brother and I were hardcore gamers. So when my brother didn't follow rules, I would smack him in the head with the controller and tell my mom, no, it's my time. He's cheating, So it was basically just family quality time. And until this day, I actually try to keep those traditions. I have a son, he's 11 years old. And my passion has been letting him know, hey, these are our family traditions. We're a family of gamers. This is what I grew up with. And I don't push it. I don't make him like it. So I kind of let him make his own decisions. And so far, he is a gamer. He loves gaming too. So it's pretty cool.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Okay, so you guys you're talking about family traditions. So like you're hoping that one day the kind of flows from like your parents to you to them, and then hopefully it'll go on to future generations.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Because I guess when you're used to seeing your parents do a certain thing and they do it with passion, there's a lot of good stuff you pick up from them, and then you want to cherish them. And one of those ways is passing it on to your children. My dad taught me so many good things. He was so passionate as a musician, and a lot of the stuff that I do right now with my own channel, I learned it from my dad. That commitment, that discipline, learning how to carry yourself in public, and displaying a good example, because, well, I'm Hispanic. So it's like, you got to be proud of your culture and represent it in the bestest way you can. So all those things, I learned it from my own dad. And when it comes to gaming, my dad was the one that was like, suck it up, buttercup. I ain't gonna give you a trophy for participation. You have to earn it, you know? So
Oh,
he
that's
wouldn't
cool.
make it easy for us, but it was kind of teaching us like, you gotta earn it, you know, you need to hustle, because if you beat, let's say, Ghosts and Goblins, it's a hard game, right? If you beat it, it's a satisfaction because you know how hard it was, and you know you can't cheat. You got to earn it. So it's like if you are able to win those games and earn it, it actually prepares you for like life skills and life lessons of being disciplined and consistent in your workplace, you know, in your job with your family, and not slacking and always giving your best. So there's a lot of stuff you can learn through gaming, really.
It's interesting. A lot of people a lot of people who don't understand gaming don't understand that gaming actually teaches you real life skills. It teaches you like, okay, how a lot of people get frustrated, they throw a controller. Like my nephew, we taught him. Yeah, my nephew before was so used to the touch screen. The last 2 years, we were teaching him starting with the regular Nintendo controller, the NES, and he had a hard time with his hand-eye coordination. Through gaming, we were actually able to teach him hand-eye coordination, and his mom bought him a Switch last year for Christmas because he got so good with hand-eye coordination. So things like that are kind of cool because you're able to process thoughts, and it's pretty awesome. Also with traditions are cool because you don't see that a lot where like you said, people, you don't pass it, you pass it down, but you don't push it upon, and it just happens to be that your kids are like, they're interested in what you're interested in, and then they kind of like, oh, well, why is this? And then you're able to finally understand and explain to them, okay, well, this is what I grew up with, and then when he gets older and he passes it on, he's gonna be able to pass on those same gaming traditions. And so I believe that's how the gaming world stays alive.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's
So
true.
next big question. All right, this is
That's my
this
favorite.
is a hard one because there's different genres, but
Okay.
what is your all-time #1 favorite game and why? So I know there's a lot of different genres, but gotta pick one. Not necessarily one, but if you want to pick a couple, it's cool too.
That's the best
Wow.
question. That is
Just
always
say
the best
one
question
and
we ask.
then change your mind to 2, you know?
I know, but there's so many good ones from each console. What do you pick, really? Come on.
And it's okay. So one from each. One from each system. How do I do
Ooh,
it?
that-
All
Two.
Yeah, if you want to, why not?
Damn.
Y'all gonna hate me. It's not the top 100 from everyone.
Okay. We got a couple hours.
You know what? Come at me. This is my list. It's my list.
Roll out a scroll.
If it's from the coin op industry, yes, guys, that's short for arcades. I think it would be Dig Dug. That's my
Dig
all-time
Dug.
favorite.
That's an awesome game.
I love
Nice.
Dig Dug. Every time
That's
I live
classic.
stream, that's just my go-to. And if I
Yeah.
go to a barcade, it's like, Jesus, I hope they have that barcade because
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm
That's a
gonna.
good one.
When it comes to the NES, I'm gonna break the rules. I can't choose one. There's one game that I actually discovered it recently as an adult, and I enjoying the heck out of it. I think it's called Elevator Action. It kind of has like an arcade-ish vibe to it. It's a very great game. And Popeye. I mean, who doesn't know Popeye? Actually, Popeye was an arcade game, but then they ported it to the NES. But anyways, I'm breaking the rules. That's one of my favorite. When it comes to SNES, I would say oh Jesus.
There's so many good ones on the SNES.
There's so many good ones. I'm gonna go with the classic Mario Kart, and the reason why is because I got to play the heck out of it with my brother back then. So it's just nostalgia, really. That's all what it boils down to. Nintendo 64. Y'all gonna hate me, but I'm gonna skip it.
What?
I'm not saying there's bad.
Oh.
There's one game.
That's it. I'm out of here.
It's kind of corny. It's kind of corny. But there's this Disney game. I know, right? Disney's so corny, but it's a Tetris game. I think it's called Disney Magical Tetris. It's a great game. It's not your normal boring Tetris game. I'll tell you that right now. And it even has a story mode, which I think that is like the highlight of that game. It's best for a story mode, basically. GameCube, I can't go wrong with Super Mario Sunshine, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I mean, but Luigi's Mansion. I mean, come on, guys, Luigi's Mansion is the best. I think Luigi's Mansion alone, I'm good when it comes to GameCube. And then from there, I guess Wii U, my favorite game, and I spoke this recently with 8-Bit Eric, was Star Fox. I enjoyed actually Star Fox. I think it's a great game. I wish they would port that to the Nintendo Switch. And now on the Nintendo Switch, here's a lot of good games. But I think my all-time favorite would be Super Mario Odyssey. I mean, you can't beat Super Mario Odyssey. It's a great game. I could play that over and over again. So I think I did my best resuming.
Pretty good list. That is a good list.
It's a good list. Do you have a favorite handheld console game, like a Game Boy or Game Boy Advance?
So yeah, the last handheld
or Game Gear.
Neo Geo Pocket. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. But I didn't have that. But yeah, add that to my list. I forgot about that. Pocket Rumble is a great SNK Neo Geo game. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yep. You need to test that. It's just 2 buttons, super friendly, pick up and go. It's a great fighters game, beginner friendly. I love that game. But the last handheld console I actually tried out was Game Boy Advance, and I don't remember well the name. I think it was one of those series of Mario and Luigi.
Oh, the Superstar Saga? Was it that one?
Yeah, something like that.
It was an RPG.
Yes.
Yes, Superstar Saga probably.
Yeah, that was actually pretty fun. That was a fun game. I think because it looked very similar to Paper Mario. Obviously, it had very.
That one to me would have been the successor to the Paper Mario and the Thousand Room Door. Also to Mario RPG for Super Nintendo. It looks like it kind of was a successor to that.
So it makes sense, yeah, because it had like very similar elements. So that was a fun game. That actually was a fun game.
Right on. I think you passed the test. I mean,
she went above and beyond the Call of Duty with that question.
Yeah. All right. Now you can come back next time.
Yeah, it's fun.
My only issue with your list is that you skipped the N64. I mean, that's a great
console. Oh.
It is. I will tell you what it is. My problem with Nintendo 64, and it's the only downside, but I mean, it was the best thing in its time, really. You know, part of 3D, but the downside for me was just the cameras. Every time I had to play a game that involved, you know, changing constantly camera angles, oh my God, the rage and quit moments were real, you know?
Yeah, Mario 64 was kind of like that.
Yeah, I was like, this thing is rigged. I ain't playing this, you know?
And the controller was kind of weird too. It had like that prong controller that was kind of awkward to hold. And
it was, so that's why I say like, and besides, you know, my brother, who was the favorite of the family, got the Nintendo 64.
That's why.
I love you, bro. But yeah, it wasn't my favorite system. I guess my brother actually played more Nintendo 64, and then I was the one that played more GameCube. So I have better memories with GameCube than with Nintendo 64. It sounds weird, but that's how it actually was.
I accept that.
She's all, this is my reason, and this is why.
All because of my brother.
Blame it on the siblings. I used to do that all the time too.
Oh man, imagine being in a house. There's 7 boys. I'm living with my 6 brothers, and we're all fighting for a turn for Super Nintendo. How bad was that? Tell me. Good old days. Let's see,
I couldn't imagine. I only had my brother and my sister, and Me and my brother used to duke it out over the controllers back in the day. So you had a whole army to fight.
I came to the point that I even told my brother one day, I was like, I hate you so much. And I was like, I disown you. You're not my brother anymore. All because of
Where's your
you.
brother right now? Can we get him on right now?
Yeah, he'll tell you. And my mom was like, y'all fight so much. When y'all become adults, you're going to love each other. I was like, that's not true. But now that we're adults, I'm like, I love him to death. And I'm like, okay, it's true. Mom had a point.
All right. Well, anybody have any questions for Crystal?
I can go ahead and start off with one right now. I saw within your videos, I wanted you to get more because you're not just about gaming. You're like you have a video of those treasures of your childhood, like your 90s. And besides the gaming, what else do you love doing? With is that some movies? That's a bunch of other cool things. Like,
so I think I've came into this phase that I feel pretty like comfortable with my channel. So I was like, I don't want my channel to be only solely based on games. I wanted it to be merged around the concept of overall 90s nostalgia, because that's the time when I was born. You know, I'm not going to act like, oh, I know so much history about the 70s and the 80s when I wasn't born in that time. You know, I can learn about it now, but that was not my era. That was not my time. So now I try to focus on, okay, this is what I grew up with, and I want to share it to the world. I don't want to talk more of the same thing that everybody talks about. Oh, this is the top 100 games best of all time. I want to talk about what's my favorite, because truth be told, anybody can say that the game is great, and I'm not saying they're lying, but if I didn't get to play it back then and I didn't have it in my childhood, there's not much I can say about the game, right. You know? So I was like, the best thing I can do is just share who I am and why I am a gamer, and also like what connects me to my childhood. And so I took it from a investigative journalism standpoint and started like deepening into, you know, just the history overall of the 90s. And it was interesting because while I did it, I started remembering, you know, reminiscing about movies I had back then, how technology was back then, how, you know, we would use the internet back then compared to now. And so it all of a sudden, kind of like a light bulb moment, occurred to me that why not create this series called Treasures of My Childhood, where I can share exactly everything I had back then. And maybe I could find out about people that had similar things that I did, you know, back in the day. And we can share, you know, that same passion and that same interest. So that's kind of how it all happened with the series. Also, I'm kind of in that phase that I'm actually promoting, and this is not me trying to just gender role something. It's just kind of a way of celebrating and recognizing people that have done so much things for the gaming industry. So I'm working on a series that I'm going to bring soon that is celebrating all the females that participated and in the gaming industry and had breakthroughs, you know, in all the areas, in all sense, you know, since from game designers, like from the beginning of video game industry till now, you know, and it doesn't only have to be females, you know, we're talking about African Americans, transgender, anybody that probably back in the day did not receive the recognition they deserved. And I want to like put my seed and say, hey, I acknowledge what you did for the gaming industry and I want to celebrate it. So like, for example, like, let me give you a quick fact, guys, about gaming history. Back then in the 50s, right? Almost 30 to 50% of the programmers, computer programmers, were females. And a lot of people do not know that, you know, because then it turned into a stereotype of, well, we're not going to acknowledge that it was by females. We're going to turn it into a male role just because back then it was related to chess and arithmetics and stuff like that. So that kind of seemed like what was cool you know, and a lot of these programmers, like for example, Hedy Lamarr, she was a Hollywood actress, you know, and she did I think it was around the era of 1950 actually. She developed a concept that now, because of what she did, they actually use that technology. And it was, I'm not going to go too deep because it's really deep, but it came to the point that they used it in World War II for signals for torpedoes and all that stuff. Y'all can do your research. And later on, that was established to be able to use for Bluetooth and wireless connection that we have nowadays. And the person that brought it was a female, you know, and we could go on, you know, because a lot of people, like for example, I hate when I hear people saying, oh, the gaming industry, the crash of 1978, the Atari, and they just stay stuck in that idea. And it's like, well, it's not only in 1978, it started in 1974, because in 1974 was the coin-op industry, the arcades. And because we were transitioning from arcades to a home console, there was this struggle of who wanted to still own the industry, if arcades with coin-op or home video game consoles. And that's when eventually, you know, we all know Magnavox went down and then Atari went down in 1978. So there's a lot of details that I'm investigating now that I want to bring soon to create a series, just to acknowledge, you know, all these females and all these people that didn't receive, you know, any recognition, and that nowadays, because we're so open-minded, we could commemorate them for what they did in the gaming industry. So, I mean, just a quick fact.
That's great. That's something I've been thinking about back in the day when me and the youngsters were all playing games. Only the guys were talking about it, and the girls were not appreciated enough. And I think at this time, the girls are the women, they're out there, they're gaming it like crazy, and they'll probably beat your ass anytime, meaning me. Down, you know, they're probably, we got to recognize more of the female, you know, gamers, and that's why I appreciate that, and I hope that you know, succeed in that very well. So,
thank you.
You were talking about gaming females. It's pretty interesting. Like, my wife doesn't go online, she doesn't play games, but my wife is a heck of a gamer. Like, she plays Mario Kart, and that's what you're talking about. Like, women don't get celebrated enough. I tell people, I'll tell you 100%. She beats me every time. I don't let her. She's very competitive. So every time, like, I feel like I'm winning. I've won 2 times in the last month. So I'm like, babe, I beat you finally. And she's like, oh, I'm going to practice. I'm going to beat you, watch. Because she usually beats me because I've gotten more practice in. But I celebrate her because a lot of women don't get the respect in gaming that they deserve. But nowadays, it's pretty cool because, like, women are just starting to come out, and it's pretty cool that they're getting the recognition. Because back in the late 80s, if you were a kid, you saw another girl in the arcade and all the boys were there, it was like they were pushing through. They had to come in and they try to be as tough as they can, go to the arcade, and if they come in and beat a boy, it was a big deal. Because
that's exactly what was going on. It was like there was this stereotype of like a gamer is a nerd, you know, enclosed in the basement, and it's only guys, it's only boys, you know, with their little beers and their cigarette sticks and all that stuff. And yeah, y'all remember that back.
Oh, the memories. Woo!
Surge, guys.
Good times. Good times.
Don't forget the pogs.
Yeah, it's true because even when I was in high school, if you played games, you know, you were considered a nerd, like straight up. If you played any type of card game, board games, but now nerds rule the world. Everybody's playing a game.
And it's funny because back then, and my mom will tell you that this is legit the truth, she would call me a tomboy because I was into gaming, obviously. So when I would go to school, I never hanged out with females. I would always hang out with guys, because at the end of the day, my interest was similar to what the boys had. And my mom was so concerned. I'm not going to lie. My mom was so concerned. It came to the point that she was like, you're not going to have any female friends. She's like, you can't be with guys all the time. And then she asked me one time, she's like, are you? And then she asked me because she was that concerned. And I'm like, and I started laughing. I'm like, and genuinely, this was me. And I was like 9. I was like, Mom, I just hate hanging around females because all they talk about is about makeup and hair. And that's not what I'm into. I was like, when I told her that, my mom was like, all right, just hang out with the guys, you know? So at the end, she just quit. But you know, nowadays I got a kid. I gave her a grandson, so I passed the test.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's a Hispanic thing, guys.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
Who's up
Brandon?
next?
Anyone?
Well, I have some I actually would like to say some compliments too, because I like that you've been doing a lot of collabs, especially with other female gamers. I really like the collabs you did with J Love and Linda the Gamer. I thought was awesome. So I'm really like that you're like really bringing the community together, shedding light on the female gamers. I think that's really dope. Kind of getting them out to letting everybody know that you guys are the real deal. You guys are legit. So I think that's pretty cool. I saw that you've been collaborating with not Metal Jesus. John
Eric
Hancock.
this morning.
Apex Eric, John Hancock. So you've been collaborating with some big shots. I was like, oh man, like, I mean, can you like, can you speak to that? Like, how do you like prepare, like when you're like interviewing these like, those guys are really big.
So the thing is, I've been friends of these people for several years. It's not like I'm just, hey, I want an interview with you. You got a big channel. Let me benefit of it. We've been like Ape and Eric, for example, we've been friends for over 4 years, you know, and it all started, you know, him receiving me when I landed to Texas. He was the first person that welcomed me to Texas. Cool. And he guided me because he knew that as a female and what my plans were, I was very nervous, you know, of how the audience was going to receive me at first. So I was very, very shy. And he was the one that like had my back. I always told him he's like my therapist at some point, because he would snap me out, you know, every time I was nervous or shy or didn't know how to respond or how to react or be like comfortable in front of the cameras and like be myself. So I've always had them as friends, but I always showed them like I wasn't interested in anything, you know, that was just benefiting of them, you know. I wanted to grow by my own labor, my own effort. Yeah. So it came to the point that now that I have this what we call a snowball effect, you know, you're on a rise and you just have this exposure. My friends by themselves, they said, you know, we know you're never going to ask us to interview you, to have you interview us, because we know that you don't like to do that. You don't want us to think that, you know, our friendship is based on solely interest. They're like, but we want to help you. We want to like be part of your success, be part of your growth. So like, give us the opportunity to be interviewed by you. So when they did that, I felt like, okay, this sounds genuine because we're doing it from such a friendship side. So it's so organic, it's so natural, because when I sit with them and have these interviews, it's not script, because we've known each other for so long that we could just ramble and talk about things, you know? And I think that's what the audience enjoys a lot, because we just forget that we're almost in front of cameras and just kind of unplug from our YouTube career and just be ourselves. Talk about life, you know, talk about what we enjoy. And Ape and Eric was one of those things. Like we even went on a rant, you know, and just started like pet peeve about different things and just kind of like have our inside jokes and let people a little bit in so they can see like, at the end of the day, we're just normal human beings with a regular life. We got our regular 9-to-5 job. We got kids. And just because we have the spotlight, we don't consider ourselves like, oh, I'm like the last, like we say in Spanish, la última Coca-Cola del desierto, so like the last Coca-Cola in the desert. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We just like what we do, you know?
Yeah.
And so John is excellent. John, I've considered him to be a best friend. He is a friend. And not only is he a friend, I consider him to be my mentor. And, you know, he always checks my channel. He's very blunt and he'll give you advice, what you're doing
Yeah.
wrong, what you're doing right, what you need to fix. And I am kind of like a student. I just observe, you know, and take in all their advice and just kind of hustle. And then they'll give me feedback of how I'm doing. And that's kind of how the interviews have been occurring. And I laugh because a lot of people are like, oh, you're starting to grow. These are big names. And I'm like, y'all don't know. They're my friends.
Those are really nice friends to have, just so you know.
but it's fun, you know, because when we're not recording or we don't have interviews, then we just talk about life, you know, talk about what's going on in our private lives. And it's fun to have friends like that because you feel like they really got your back.
That's pretty cool. I would love to check out John Hancock's library, his museum, like in person. He's got like a
Let me
sick
tell you
collection
something.
of everything.
John is an encyclopedia.
He's a serious collector. Yeah, he's
you
the
know Winnie the
man.
Pooh. You know, sorry, John, I'm gonna compare you to this. You
Yeah.
know Winnie the Pooh, that owl that's always like with the little encyclopedia and the spectacles. I literally compare John to that owl.
Yeah,
because
he's a real historian. He knows his stuff.
yes, he has
knows his
so much
stuff.
gaming knowledge that it's so refreshing. And I'm like, I sometimes feel like I'm almost slacking. I'm like, God, Jesus, I gotta make my own research and step on my game because this guy knows so much, you know. But yeah, it's been good. It's been a good experience.
Well, I have one question. Okay, I noticed that you collect VHS tapes, no?
Yes, I do.
So growing up, a lot of people in different eras don't really understand the struggle of when watching a VHS tape. So you put it in, you watch it, the tape rips, and you're like, no. So how was your? Anyway, that was my little thing, because when you watched them and it ate your tape, and you were just like, that was my favorite movie.
Oh my God, he's just bringing back those nightmares.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Jesus.
I have personal beef with VHS tapes though. Personal. See, my
Bro.
first job, I'm dating myself. My first job, I was Blockbuster, and I was in high school at the time, and I remember I was in charge of rewinding those damn VHS tapes. And I used to get so pissed off. They would stick that little high school boy to rewind all those VHS tapes. I used to hate it. I used to absolutely hate it. And they had the stock the popcorn shelves. And all that. Yeah. That's why I thank God for DVDs, that when they started coming out, I was like, all right, I could rock with DVDs, but VHS, I have a beef, personal beef.
So this is a funny story about VHS. This is what I didn't include in my video because I would go on a pet peeve when it comes to that. I had this lunchbox, right? I'm trying to collect again. It was Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And in that lunchbox, which by the way is one of my favorite movies, I had all the McDonald's cassettes that they would give you in the Happy Meals, like the Halloween songs and all that stuff. And they had these Happy Meal cassettes, and it was all the songs, and it was good songs, by the way. And I remember every time, kind of the same thing as the VHS, you had to rewind so you could put part B and be able to listen to part B, right? But then it would either rip or it would unwind, and I would use my pencil. I don't know if y'all remember that. To kind of like crank it and put it back to place. But also when it came to VHS, the way we would watch, my mom would watch soap operas and stuff like that, is that she would connect this huge camcorder with the cables and with, I don't know how she would do it. It was a mess, but she would plug it to the VCR and then plug it to our big CRT TV, and then did something that she would be able to record it on a VHS, and then later on we would sit down and be able to watch those soap operas. That was before DVR, boys and girls. That's how you would record your shows and then watch them. And I'm like, I feel like nowadays we're just spoiled, because I think we had more satisfaction of sitting down and watching our shows back then, because we knew the struggle was real to even record it, you know? But yeah, when it ripped, I cried so bad. I would try, call me crazy, I don't know if you got to do this, but I try to tape it. Did
Yeah,
you
me
ever
too.
tape it?
Oh, yeah. Got to.
But it wouldn't work. I was like getting a piece of scotch tape, and I'm like, let me try to fix it, you know? But yeah, it wouldn't work, guys.
My grandma back in the day, because she's like real tech savvy. So back in the day, she used to print labels and get blank VHS tapes. And she would copy one VHS tape to the next VHS tape. And then she'd do like 6 or 7. Christmas time came and it was like, oh, we all got VHS tapes. Woo! Oh, we didn't know until years later, she was over there duplicating VHS tapes. And we were like, oh, well, that's cool.
That's crazy.
I didn't hear anything. I heard nothing at all.
Well, you can, as long as they're for a gift, I'm pretty sure it's legal to like distribute. As long as you're giving out, not if you're selling them, that's a whole different ballfield.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I have sold things I probably shouldn't have. I've like modded consoles and sold them and everything. Yeah, I probably should.
Hey, man, this is the only
whatever.
VHS I got right now. This is it.
Oh,
Oh
Pokemon.
damn!
The house. The only one right now.
Wow.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh,
You could
Speaking of
smack
cassette-
somebody in the head with that.
Oh, no, this is priceless.
Probably should smack somebody in the head with that.
speaking of
I'll send it to
music,
you so you can rewind it for me.
So did you ever
Oh, no.
did you ever take a cassette tape that you didn't really like and put tape over it and record your favorite radio songs on it?
Bro,
That's-
yes.
Yeah,
That's, called
I
that's the
did.
90s mixtape right there. The
It was
90s
a-
mixtape.
It was
right.
your classic mixtape.
That's your
Yeah.
classic 90s mixtape right there.
I was
yo.
like, that was when back then we're like, oh, I hate the Backstreet Boys. Come
Uh-huh.
at me.
but you were stuck recording them commercials too on top of it, and it was a hot mess.
Bro, when actually back then it was an enjoyment to sit down and watch commercials because I don't know if y'all probably remember that. You worked in Blockbuster, so you know what I'm talking about. On Fridays, my dad was like, "Oh, it's family night. We're gonna watch a movie." And I was like, he's like, "Make up your mind because we're only gonna rent one movie." And the struggle was real because I started fighting with my brother trying to see if he would pick my a movie of choice. But of course, my brother always picked crappy movies. Yeah, that's your fault too. And so we would go to Blockbuster, and my dad would pick up popcorn from there, would pick up candy, would pick up the movie. And when we sat down to watch the movie, it was lights off, the kids on the floor in front of the TV, the parents on the couch, everybody quiet, nobody talked. And we would watch every single commercial that was on that VHS, all the video previews, movies that were about to come out. It was fun. I
always love that. Heck yeah.
Because back in the day, the only way you knew about the latest movies or latest everything is you had to get that VHS tape. If not, you heard about it on the playground or from your friends or whatever.
Yeah. You felt cool because once you went to school, they're like, "Yo, you heard?" Yeah, I heard about it. I watched it at home. You know?
we got reproductions of it.
Nowadays, everyone just
I
skips
watched it
everything.
first.
That's great. That is great.
Yeah, and especially me and my boss today were talking about, she said, you know what's sad is everybody is getting away from Saturday morning cartoons. And I told her, I said, you know what's sad is that we're such a digital family that you ask my daughter what Saturday morning cartoons and she says, oh, YouTube or Netflix. And my boss goes, that is just terrible. And I was like, it's just all out the window now. Everything's so digital that they won't have that same experience that we did. And I said, so for them, their nostalgia will be like, you guys remember YouTube? Maybe whatever's going to be out a long time from now, YouTube, or, oh, remember Netflix? Wow. Or remember the Nintendo Switch? That system's old now.
You know what? I'm lucky enough, when retracing back to traditions, I actually took that into mind that I was seeing this transition of, technology advancement. And I exposed my kid to cartoons that I watched back then and kind of see if he liked it. And now my son is a big fan of Pink Panther, Mr. Bean, Woody Woodpecker. I'm like, we're talking about old cartoons. And that kid
done right. Parenting done right.
And it's not like I sit down and force him to do it. It's like in his own time, he grabs the remote and goes to by the way, it's not sponsored, but Tubi Kids, something like that. It's a free streaming service. And he finds those kids shows, the classics one. He was watching last time the Super Mario show and TMNT episodes by himself in his room, and I was like, good, so I think it's all how you raise your kids, really. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I don't know.
I think the reason why
I took advantage of that.
I think the reason why he liked it because the shows nowadays are just nowhere near as good as the cartoons back in our day. You know what I'm saying?
He's a
You're
big
right,
fan of Alf. Like, he sits down and watches Alf and I Love Lucy. You know how old I Love Lucy?
I
is?
love
gosh.
Lucy. That's my mother's favorite show.
Black
Lucille
and white and
Ball.
everything.
Let me
Good
tell you
God,
something.
that's great.
Lucy's spouse was till this day.
You got some explaining to do.
That
That's
was good,
great.
QA.
Really had color.
I'm like,
My
give
mother
me the
loves
role,
that
please.
show.
Let me act.
That's great.
Our kids
Oh,
too,
God.
they know all the old shows and stuff. So if they watch YouTube and stuff, I'll see my son, he'll be watching like Rocky and Bullwinkle or
Oh,
Tom and Jerry, or it's like we saw an ad and it was the new like a Geico ad or something, and it had Rocky and Bullwinkle, and they're all, Dad, look, it's Rocky and Bullwinkle. I was like, I almost shed a tear right there. I'm like, those my kids right there.
oh my God, train them right.
Parenting done right.
Did it right. Or whenever they're naming off all these
That's what I'm
different
talking about.
yeah, all these old video
Man,
game
you guys
characters.
know nothing about the gummy bears.
Oh, watch out.
The one that they drink the beer and then they start bouncing up and down.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's what that was in there.
That's
We
what
all
was in-
really know.
That's why they were happy so often.
Exactly.
That was they were in a high mood.
Mhm.
High mode.
They were
Right there.
they were a little too happy. I'm onto that.
Oh God.
Daughter was watching My Little Pony, and she was watching She-Ra recently.
She-Ra's good.
Yeah, my daughter. And then they had an updated version of She-Ra, so she watched the old one and then she watched the new one. And so she's like, Dad, have you ever seen that? And I was like, yeah, I've seen that, of course. I grew up with that. He-Man.
Oh
pretty cool.
gosh, He-Man. Yeah.
Oh man,
Oh,
Masters of the Universe.
Masters of the
Yep.
Universe. You can't go wrong with that.
Tom Kalinske was part
Except
of that
Captain
one.
Planet. That's the only thing you could go wrong.
Oh yeah, Captain Planet. I know that whole theme song. Sadly, I used to like that show when I was a kid. I don't know why. I know the whole theme song right now. I can sing it. I
I
swear.
think you still like it.
Talking about recycling.
Now the secret comes out. Secret's coming out.
And you guys gotta
That
admit,
surge. Let me
You guys
stop watching that.
got to admit that Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers had the best McDonald's toys.
Oh, yep, yep.
And
Yeah, it's
McDonald's used to have the best toys back in the day. Like for real, it's good. They're okay now. Some of the sets are good, but like every time when we were a kid, those McDonald's toys were like fire
McDonald's toys were
every
legit.
time. Yeah,
Every
like
time, every time they come out with like Hot Wheels, man, I was all over that.
Oh, yeah.
man.
they were not made with that cheap plastic material that they're made nowadays. It's like back then they actually lasted.
Right.
And till this day, because last time, not too long ago, I think McDonald relaunched a 90s line, and they did like a mix of different retro toys.
Yeah, they had the Power Rangers one. I remember.
Yeah,
That was dope. That was dope.
that was pretty cool, man.
It almost makes me think that they had a warehouse of stuff, but they were like, oh wow, these are actually toys from the 90s, guys. Let's get rid of them. 90s line.
Okay, guys, we're talking about 90s toys. Did any of you like collect Pogs? I was really big into that.
I was a big Pog person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pogs
I had
and
the Pogs
Slaughter.
with the
Y'all gonna kill
skulls
me?
on them.
I don't have Pogs. Yeah,
Oh, really?
Oh,
I know.
damn.
I had the long cylinder too that had just all kinds of them in there.
Yeah, it's see, the way I remember Pogs, and I don't know if in y'all's where you grew up it was that way. I know where I grew up it was kind of that way, and probably QA Ninja's gonna know. When they would launch like Doritos and all that stuff, sometimes they would have a Pog wrapped inside of the potato
Oh, the
chip
collectible
bags.
one.
Yeah. So when you
Yep.
finished eating, if you were lucky enough, you would find one of those pogs inside of the bag. That's the only time I collected pogs. I was like, well,
That's
mom
so
ain't gonna buy
90s.
me. So I'm like, buy me Doritos. Let me buy me a bag of Lay's.
That's so
I remember
90s. I
the
love it.
90s. The 90s when you used to buy cereal or you used to buy, like you said, Doritos, you'd be looking forward to those little toys and you're like,
Yeah.
nowadays when you see the toys, you got to send off the UPC codes. But back in the 90s, it was fun because you were just like, you didn't even want the cereal. You just threw that whole bag out just to get that little toy. You were like,
Yep, I just want the prize inside, man.
Mom killed me one day, bro. I was like, she brought a cereal box, and I was like, I looked at the front, and it said that it had a Mario toy in it, and I was like, really? So I opened the box in the morning before she wakes up because I knew I was gonna get in trouble. You know, it's like I might as well, you know, do the little, you know, tortured moment. And I'm like, well, mom's asleep. And I'm like, I turned the cereal box upside down and I look over it. And you know, the bad luck of mine is that the toy wasn't in that box after I
oh,
emptied it.
Damn.
So by the time mom woke up, my prize was a whooping for emptying
Your
it.
prize.
She's like, child of God, let me bless you and take that. So yeah, it's crazy.
Man, 90s were the best, weren't they? Holy crap. Man.
Yeah, it's millennials ain't gonna get that.
No, they have no idea. No idea.
Yeah.
one day when the DeLorean becomes real, I'm going to take a trip back to the 90s and go do some shopping.
Oh, bro, preach it.
I mean, we had to have done something right in the 90s. Everything is coming back. The clothes comes back. The
Yep.
TV shows are being rebooted. They're even rebooting the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but it's gonna be a drama series now.
Yes,
That's gonna be dope.
I saw that another guy was redoing it and Will Smith interviewed him on YouTube. And it's
Yeah,
pretty cool because he put a brand new twist on it.
yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they actually approved it to be an actual series. Now I don't know when it's coming out, but they actually approved it to be a full-time series.
Well, yeah, and
Oh,
and on Netflix, right? They started bringing a bunch of new shows like Sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Saved by the Bell and
Saved by the Bell.
Step by Step and all those other ones. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
they revamped Full House to be Fuller House. You know,
Yeah,
so
Fuller House.
Yeah.
You can't get
So-
enough about Full House. Get Fuller House.
You know what's interesting? My wife and I tried to watch like stuff like that because it was our 90s. And I just, because of everything we watched throughout the years, I was like, babe, like, why did we watch this stuff when we were kids? Like, how did we watch it? She's all, it's because it was our childhood. I'm like, because I used to be like Steve Urkel, like fanatic, because he was the nerd that turned into like Stefan Urkel.
Yeah.
Oh. My
He was the cool
God.
dude.
Yeah, man. Good
Sabrina the
stuff.
Witch. Yeah, guys. I'm like,
My daughter, actually, I told my wife because we wanted to watch something, and you know, because the pandemic, you're kind of watched out on shows, and I said, well, let's turn on Sabrina the Teenage Witch for our daughter because
It's
there's a
fun.
cartoon out of it, like a cartoon series for kids.
Yeah.
And my daughter goes, oh yeah, watch that. So we turned it on for her, man. She was like, loves Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and I was like,
I'm like,
good,
yes.
good TV for kids.
Yeah, old shows that I watch, old, was do y'all remember Bewitched?
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Bewitched,
you know,
yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah, and then the genie in the bottle or something like that. It was called.
I
can't
Dream of Genie.
God knows.
I Dream of Genie.
I Dream of Genie. Yes. Oh my God, I would do like that. I can't.
Those are mad old school.
can't
That's like, damn, that's like real vintage.
But that girl, let me tell you, I saw her recently. I was like, Jesus, she aged like fine wine because that girl did not age.
You know,
But-
talking about the Brady's Bunch from the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Gilligan's Island. I love that show too.
Oh, that show was.
Oh. The X-Files. Do y'all remember the
Oh,
X-Files?
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Heck yeah.
Oh,
Every episode.
They brought that back, didn't they? Like they were doing a new
Yeah, few
series.
times.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did for a little bit, but I don't know what happened because it got renewed. So I don't know. They had a few episodes, and it was almost like watching the old one. So that's why I was pretty stoked.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I need to look into it. I haven't watched the
I-
one.
I-
What about
remember-
Tales from the Crypt?
Bro,
God.
Yeah.
you're going down that rabbit hole.
Anybody who's watching this, we're like, what the hell are these guys talking about?
Wow, this is so old school, man.
Oh, yeah, showing our age now.
What about Elvira?
Oh, I don't. See, I'm gonna keep my opinions to myself. I mean, it was good. Okay, but I'll leave it there.
In the chat right now.
So
as,
she didn't like it.
Hey, right now we got Master Sword Music is in the chat. He's saying love her personality, just sub to her channel. That's cool. You know,
Oh, what did he say? Sorry, I couldn't
Master
hear.
Sword Music said he said love her personality, just sub to her channel. So we have everyone's channel, everyone here, even Crystal, we got your Twitter and your YouTube in the description. So if you guys want to find her, find us, and right there. So that's why I always leave the links there right when we start, so people can catch up on you guys.
I appreciate it, y'all, boy.
I'll tell you what, Master Sword Music, him and SwitchBit, they do rapping about music, and it's so fresh. I mean, it's awesome. It's so awesome. Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff with the 90s. I don't regret the era that I was born in. You know, it's like if they gave me a second opportunity and they tell me whatever you want to be born in, I'm like, the 90s, baby. Let's do it again.
Heck yeah.
Hey, what about the old payphone hack?
Oh my God, bro.
Me up here at 4 o'clock. Clink.
Let me tell you a story. That's your fault. You're bringing it. When back then, boys and girls, we did not have cell phones. We did not have a Nokia that was like heavy as a brick. We had this phone line that they would charge you per minute. I don't know if y'all remember that. You would have to pay per minute. Yeah. And if it was international calls, it was way much more expensive. So what happened was, my mom, she's Puerto Rican. You tell a woman in Puerto Rican no, she's gonna do the opposite. So,
that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
My dad tells my mom, you can't call your mom because it's an international call and it's freaking expensive. And that was when we were in New Jersey. And my mom's like, say what? So my mom picks up the phone and calls her mom, and they stay over an hour talking on the phone. When the monthly, because it was a monthly bill that would come in, and they would print it out in these papers that it almost looked like stacked up, that when you open it, it was like this huge long sheet, and it had the little sides that you could tear apart or something like that. I don't remember, but it was like this weird sort of like sheets that the bills would come in. It was over $200. Over $200
oh, damn.
phone bill, because it was like super expensive per minute. And my dad got so mad. You know what my mom did? She picked up and left from the apartment and didn't come back until like around midnight, because she waited for him to go to sleep so she wouldn't hear him holler at her for the $200 bill.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, at the next stage, she was like, I don't know what happened, babe. I was talking to mom. I didn't know that was going to happen. He was like, oh, a $200 bill. That's what happened. It was awesome, crazy, bro. It was crazy. It was expensive. Phone calls back then were ridiculously expensive. And that's why I say we're spoiled. We're spoiled because nowadays you pay what, $60 maybe, 100 and something if you're paying your phone. But everything is unlimited, you know. So you don't have to worry about paying per minute, you know. Or,
hey guys, you know, I don't mind using this.
Oh
my God! You saw
the come on, Switch.
I'll save you some money.
Really?
Mr. Switch, come on.
Or if you went on a payphone with your quarters, which I bet you, Mr. Switch, you were one of those.
Oh man.
That's what I do.
Yeah, to holler at your girlfriend.
I got this old one. I got this old one right now that I had from years ago. So now that it's not active, I just use for internet wherever you go. So I was like, you know, this is for that. So when I leave the house, I like just text or call me just on this.
Bro,
that's a trap phone right there.
Y'all remember the beepers?
Trap phone.
Oh, the beepers. Beepers, yeah.
No beepers. I remember the beepers.
Some of you guys are too young to remember beepers, or no? Anyone had?
If you had a pager in the 90s, you were like super cool. You know, if you were in high school or whatever.
That's like a baller right there.
Got money.
Do y'all remember? This is like rated M at this point with the beepers. There was this certain, you would put the numbers in a certain order that it would like unlock these obscure messages that the boys would do it a lot. I don't remember very well, but I ain't gonna go into that. But those that have beepers know what I'm talking about.
That's dang, that's a new one for me.
Yeah, they would you would put the numbers in a certain way, and once you put the numbers in a certain way, you would see a message be formed, and you're like,
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna get into it because I don't want to say what
Just
it
get
That's
out
like
of
that's like some Disney cartoon subliminal message type stuff.
Oh,
And for
yes,
those who
that's
don't know what I'm
what
talking about, YouTube Disney subliminal messages.
exactly.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Y'all get the idea now.
My childhood was a lie.
Right.
I still watch it though. I still watch Disney. But yeah.
Hey, we survived. We're doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we good. I mean, we're kind of crazy, but
a little bit.
a little bit.
They use Disney as a shield.
My mom was a big Disney fan. You come at her with Disney, she will cut you open. Oh God.
And it was interesting how back in the day they had these great brick cell phones and it had this great big antenna. And we went from great big cell phones to small ones, and now we're back at the really big cell phones. So
yes, it's ridiculous. I remember my mom would put we had these pay cards, obviously, because now prepaid phones,
yes,
it's different. But back then you would have the prepaid cards. And that's how you put money for minutes in your phone.
yep.
And so my mom was like, she would buy one card and she's like, that's all you got. Use those minutes well, because once you use them up, I ain't buying no card until next month, so there's no way you could recharge your phone. I was like, okay, all right. So I would only use it if I got off early from school and call my mom. That was the only time I would use my phone. That's it. I can't use it to call my friends. The only good memories I have, a part of probably not so good calling my mom and getting, screwed for school, was playing Snake. That was my favorite game. You can't go wrong with Snake,
She said it. Her all-time favorite game, Snake.
Yeah. That's the rest, guys. Snake is what it is.
What speaking of favorite game, what did you pick for Tech Wiz's collab video? Which Mario game for the 35th anniversary? I picked Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo.
Bro,
it's my favorite Mario game of all time.
Kill me, but I don't remember.
Oh.
Because here's the deal. And that's your fault, TechSwigs. He makes me record a video, and after I record the video, originally I had chosen Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I think that was that.
Yeah.
But then he was like, "Oh, Crystal, your laptop shows in the video. We need you to record the video again." And I was like, "Okay."
Are you serious?
So
that sounds like tech, all right.
And I was like, "Really, bro? It's just a little bit of the yeah, you need to record it again." I'm like, "Okay." So in the second video, I ended up switching my game, and he's like, "You changed your game," and I was like, "Guess what? You made me record again." So
that's what you're gonna get.
That's what you're gonna get. So at this point, it's a surprise even for me. So when I watched the video, I'm like, "What's the game I picked?" Oh, that's the one.
That's funny.
That collab is gonna be
I know
so
it's my favorite
long,
game, but just don't ask me which one it is. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I think it was now. Can you believe if I mention it, it's wrong. I think it was Super Mario Sunshine.
Okay.
So just keep an eye to it, but I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Maybe if you guys want to talk, we're getting towards maybe another 10 minutes, and let's say anything you guys want to say about the direct. Anything?
Real
For
quick.
the Nintendo Direct?
Yeah. My favorite part was how intuitive the Mario Karts were with the camera, and how you can actually, build your own track, and it's up to 4 players. And it showed how you hit a shell, like a blue shell, or if you have a special, it stops the car. It literally stops the car when you hit them with the shell. And I thought that was, oh man, one of the coolest things I've ever seen, in my opinion, in video game history, how you can control a remote control car with your video game console, and the camera just keeps rolling, and you have the ability to design your own. Look right there, right there. Oh, so
like it.
sweet. Yeah, the
Looks
ability
like
to
an enjoyable.
design your own track. The possibilities are endless whenever you're playing. See, look at what they're doing right there. They're setting up the track and how they just, you can build it however you want. So you don't have to have a set way. See how they're building it right there? You can build it however you want. You can use anything in your house to build it, which is
That's
super
pretty-
awesome.
That is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Can I
Yeah,
just
so-
point out that technically they already had toys like this, but it was just like your traditional like racing cars, like control remote racing
Yeah, they
cars.
have that already. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So I found it interesting as soon as I thought it was the same thing. I'll be honest, when I was watching the Nintendo Direct, but then when I realized it had a camera attached, and I was like, oh, okay, what are they going to do with it? And I found that a pretty neat idea. I think no one saw that coming.
No, and it's a live circuit. It shows like it's a live circuit, so it's pretty cool. So in everything else I just saw the aspect. I have 2 kids. My daughter is 9 and my son's 5. So for me, us playing Mario Kart as a family is a big thing that we do. That's going to be the next thing. I told my wife, well, there goes another couple $100.
Mhm.
I just realized it was on the 16th. Is it? Can you pre-order this on GameStop, or do you have to go to the store? Like,
I think you can pre-order that on
I'm
GameStop,
wondering because that's
maybe.
Jeez. Any other
'Cause-
game you guys or anyone was hyped about during the direct?
I was excited. I know I've repeated it so many times, but I was excited for being able to play the GameCube games, because that has been a topic that we've always talked about, like when Nintendo is going to bring GameCube games, you know? And I feel like this is kind of like an indicator of them saying, hey, maybe we are capable of playing GameCube games on the Switch because, you know, Super Mario Sunshine is one of them, you know? And now with the tweaks they made to better it, I think they expanded the ratio of the screen, so it looks way much better. I know they tweaked some things. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know they tweaked some things so the games can perform better.
They did. They tweaked the screen resolution a bit. That way you get a full experience versus like this. I call it the square, the Nintendo square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool about Sunshine, guys. This is the first time I believe that they ever ported it to any other console. I don't think that's like the only game that's not been on anything else. So that's really exciting for me.
Yeah,
So I
definitely found that cool.
Yeah, because I have no other way of playing it. I still have Sunshine, but like I can't play my GameCube anymore. So the fact that I can play one of my favorite games is intriguing. But I'm not sure how they're gonna do like the flood mechanism, because then the GameCube had analog triggers. So like, how are they gonna pull that off?
I'm just excited. I know this is kind of like a side thing, but for those of us that collect games, Mario Sunshine was always an expensive game, and it was precisely for that reason, because you didn't have any other way to play it, among many more reasons. So scalpers were on the rise when it came to those type of games. But now Nintendo bringing that game to the Nintendo Switch, I am gonna guarantee you that game now is gonna fluctuate in prices. It might go up, it might keep its price, or it might go down, because now people will have a way to play it. So why are you going to purchase, the original GameCube one, if you can play it on your Switch?
Also, what's interesting about that is they have it only available for a limited time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so I thought that was kind of like crazy, because like scalpers will do that. They will buy a few, and then later on when it goes off, they'll sell it for high prices. So
like they did with Animal Crossing. They were like, y'all remember it was going for $500, $600? Oh my God. I was like, screw that. I ain't paying that much for it.
Yeah, I don't need it that bad.
Yeah, I don't need it that bad. I'm like, I could pay a water bill and an electric bill with that. So
No, it's not as surprising that they chose to have it a limited time, because they did that with the 25th anniversary with the original All-Stars game. It was only available in limited quantities, and then you couldn't find it anymore. So I guess that kind of falls along that line. What they did before, something special, then you just can't find anymore. But
Are y'all gonna order? And this was in the direct too. They said that there was gonna be some products that you can get from the Nintendo store, but also you could order them online. And it's the very first time they do something like that. That they'll give you an option to like order shirts that are like exclusive to the 35th anniversary.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can find it there, but it'll give you an option to do it online.
Yeah, I want that shirt. That shirt is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Those shoes are dope, though. I love those shoes. I'm not a shoe collector, but is that what those were? Right? Those were shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
shoes, and then they had like this like suit. I think it was more for the girls.
Yeah.
And then some like 35th edition shirts. And those shirts you can order them online. Like you're gonna have the opportunity to order them online. I guess they did that because they know that not everyone, first of all, we're in COVID, so it's not like everybody can go to the store, and not everybody lives in New York. So it's like give us an option.
I think it's more money for Nintendo too. You know, I think they're just trying to find ways to.
See, that's the one I'm talking.
Yeah.
I need that, Nintendo. Get my money.
See, that Monopoly was cool because I have the Mario Kart Monopoly and I have the Sonic Monopoly. So when that hits the stores, you better believe that Jenga too. I don't care what I have to do. I'm gonna run over there and get it from Target because I know that's where it's gonna be at.
Oh yeah, I just noticed the Jenga. Wow.
Yeah,
because my mom said, sell an arm and a leg.
Because like not QA, but One Up Level Up, he collects Monopoly.
Mhm.
So are you gonna be collecting this one?
Duh. I mean, I have an older Super Mario Monopoly set already, but this one, yeah, because this is a special edition, I'm definitely going to be all over that.
The Jenga one looked pretty awesome, and I missed out on the Donkey Kong Jenga, which Mr. Switch has the Donkey Kong Jenga, which is cool.
Yeah. Oh, what do you guys think of this one still? I still have it.
Ah, wow, yeah.
Unopened.
Unopened, unsealed, and you keep waving it in my face, dude.
I sent him a video, I think, last week.
Yeah, he did.
The Jenga one is amazing. It's really cool. So I like
and the Jenga is it's different too because it has these little characters that you can go along the side, and so you play another game along with the Jenga, which is kind of a cool twist on it too. It's kind of like the Fortnite Jenga. Have you ever played that one?
I'm not into Fortnite. I will not play Fortnite. I'm sorry, guys. I don't get Fortnite.
One up listening.
I only play it because that's what my son's really into. My wife
Really?
likes it, so
I tried once. I'm like, my brother wants me to get into it, and I'm like, I don't get this. My OCD is all over the place when I play Fortnite. I'm like, I can't do it.
I tried 3 times. My nephew gave up. Next time I tried again with my nephew and my daughter and son, and then I tried again put it on the Switch. It was like, I'm not even. And I even had this player. I guess he was like really well known in the Fortnite community. I had no idea who he was, so I looked him up later. He threw a bunch of stuff like he's you must be new here. So he dropped a bunch of, I guess, loot. And I was telling somebody about it, and they said, "Did you take a picture?" They're like, "You know who that guy is?" I'm like, "I have no clue." I don't.
You're talking about Ninja?
I don't know. I don't know what he looked like, but he looked like a samurai. The guy, I can't remember what his name was either, but they were telling me he had a samurai suit on, but he dropped like tons of like money and loot and all that stuff. And I was like, okay. And they're all, "You don't play anymore?" I was like, "Nope, though. What about the loot?" I'm all, "I don't care."
Speaking of Battle Royale games, my most exciting moment in that direct was the Super Mario 35 game. That was a complete surprise out of nowhere move for Nintendo. And I like those kind of things where they kind of just something that's outside the box. I'm pretty excited for that one. What do you guys think of that one?
And it's free if you have the Nintendo Online service.
And again, only available until March 31st. I don't understand that, but
yeah, because that's what people have been talking about. All these digital releases, why are they waiting when they have it literally available right there? I mean, they could put it out. And my opinion on the 35 one, remember that guy online that made that online game where you can play against the different Mario multiplayers and it kind of got shut down? I think that's pretty much where they pulled their idea from, which is pretty smart because now you can play against all those people at the same time.
See,
So-
the way I see it, and I will tell you, like from a business standpoint, what I probably see that Nintendo is doing is that they're waiting to launch the products in a chronological order, and it's to give time for people that do not have the online service to purchase it, because they're luring them in with these products. Or they're like, oh,
Oh.
if you get the online service, you can be able to participate in these events that we're launching, and they're just going to be limited time only, so make sure to purchase our product. So
lovely.
I see it that from a business standpoint, Nintendo's just probably to see how they're seeing how they can increase people into buying into their online service.
Yeah, maybe their numbers are not where they want them yet. So because they want
They're not. I'm sorry, Nintendo, but they're not when it comes to online service.
Well, yeah, I mean they've that's a whole nother ball. That's a whole nother issue. Their online's not as good as they're way behind with that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
they should get their buddies at Microsoft to work on their online.
Yes.
Oh.
I've always said that. I've always said that Microsoft should team up with Nintendo and actually give them a hand, because let's be honest, Xbox is the king when it comes to online service. They do such a great job. The perfect example is Game Pass. You could rant and pet peeve about the
my
system,
God.
but when it comes to Game Pass and their online service, those guys are the king.
Let me tell you,
Love it.
that was an ingenious idea. I love Game Pass. Let me tell you.
Yeah. I got to
And-
play Battletoads through Game Pass. Like, how cool is that?
What's interesting about that is they only collaborated in the fact where they shared games. If they would have shared the fact where they shared ideas about online services, I think they could have made like a killer Nintendo online service with both the creators and just put one big old dynamic system and shared games and cross-platforming.
Yeah.
It almost
I
seemed
think-
like that's what Microsoft was kind of
Yeah.
doing at some point. You know what I mean? Like, I think they would, if like Nintendo would allow it, they would totally do it. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that what people don't see as well is when Nintendo Switch launched and they partnered with Microsoft, we entered in a transition of cross-platform games.
Mhm.
People didn't notice that, but slowly Nintendo was incorporating that, because if y'all remember that fuss all of a sudden of the PS4, and they didn't want to let crossplay become a thing, and it was for Minecraft. That was them entering in that phase. That was that transition that was starting, and now we see more and more crossplay being available for a lot of games, including indie games. That's another transition we've been seeing. A lot of indie studios on the rise, and now they're even competing with AAA games.
What a world we live in. Oh my God.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are hitting the close of the Gamers Realm podcast. Does anybody else have any final thoughts of anything that we talked about tonight?
I don't think I'm good.
Everybody, no, not everybody at once, huh?
Crystal, anything from you?
So can I drop the news? It's the first time I'm gonna announce it. I'm gonna be sharing a link. We have officially opened our merch store. So
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
So we're bringing in like a lot of merch with, we have only like one design. I know, right? Calm down. Don't cut me.
Still celebrating. Yeah.
I'm like, be
What's the
grateful.
website?
but like we're just starting with the merch. My animator is working on some more designs and stuff. So as soon as those designs are available, like we'll be like, displaying a lot more designs in the merch store. And I am asking full support, guys, for Twitch, because I started streaming on Twitch. I'm there as Zap Cristal. So my plans is to have Twitch as my second platform for live streaming, and just find a way to expand more the community. I don't want it to be only on YouTube. I want it, to grow anywhere as possible. So we so far are doing well on Twitch. We've been accepted pretty well over there, especially by the retro community, because I was surprised. I thought there wasn't a retro community, but there is.
Oh yeah, there's a huge one over there.
So
send me a link to your Twitch and to your merch store so I can post it on this video.
Oh yeah, definitely. So if y'all are interested, I usually live stream at around 8 p.m. Central Time on YouTube. Twitch, we don't have an official schedule because we're trying to accomplish some criteria to become an affiliate. So we're really just checking off boxes for requirements. But if I stream tomorrow, I'm planning to stream on Twitch around 2 p.m. Central Time. And we'll be streaming. Usually our live streams are like anywhere around 2 to 3 hours long. So y'all have enough time to jump in.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right. Any other news? Or
Speaking of, don't forget our merch. Link is down in the description box below. Down below, we got our Gamers Realm merch, got our shirts. Everybody's got their
The
shirts.
Gamers Realm, the
Come on.
Gamers Realm swag.
The swag, got the coffee cups. We even got baby
Yeah,
clothes.
Oh
Baby
my God.
You got
clothes.
baby clothes now.
you mentioned baby clothes.
There's baby.
That slipped in there.
Let me
Yeah,
try to
it's
have
in
a
there
baby.
Hats, cell phone covers, book bags, you name it, it's on there. So you guys, hoodies too. They got some bomb hoodies. Winter's coming up. So not so much.
You know what we got to do is get some for everyone who
season.
does merch. They should. I want to try to find a place for some hats. That's what I want to do next.
Yeah,
Oh my
we need a hat.
But I don't know
Yeah.
what's a good site either. I'm struggling to find a spot for a hat. But
I need
Oh,
new
for like
hat, man. I need
custom
new hat.
hats.
Yeah, I think from my side, so far we've been able to do, traditional shirts. And also now I was able to bring a face mask. Yeah, we're gonna have a Zap face mask.
oh yeah.
We got face masks too. Actually, that's
Yeah.
just new. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Thank
Yeah.
you,
Who don't
COVID.
we have? We
I
have
did not know
everything.
that. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I saw that. It sent me an email. It said T Public is now having masks. I was like, woo! I'm gonna give
Okay,
me one. And plus,
I'll wear a mask on the next one.
Imagine us wearing all of our merch, the face mask, everything.
Oh,
That's
And-
awesome.
the proceeds from that, there's a percentage that they give me back, but that all goes into the podcast. So
Awesome.
anybody that buys our merch, it goes back into the podcast.
hey guys, don't forget Zap Cristal got her links in the description. I'll get some more from her. And
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone from the QA Ninja, Retro Styles, One Up, and for you guys to join me tonight, and especially our special guest Zap Cristal. And again, you were spectacular. You were great. Your fiance was awesome. Before helped us out. I don't want to forget him. But hey, is he right there? Can he do that thing for us?
Oh yeah, we need that. We need it back. Go get him.
No,
We want that
no,
sword.
F no.
Is he watching? Is he watching?
We
But,
need
yeah.
it. Cameo.
If you
Come
want to see a video, he actually recorded a video and put it on his Instagram. And it's so funny that I even went to his bio just to watch him, how he was so excited about his Power Rangers.
Oh, is that where it is right behind you? Yeah. there it is.
Yeah. Let me.
You want to go ahead and do
that
that?
thing is haunting me.
Come on, Crystal, go play it.
Wait, guys, we're gonna do this. Wait.
All right. Woo.
Wait, guys. I don't know how it works. So wait.
Here we go. Test drive.
Y'all done better mess with Zap.
Oh, what's up?
That's great. That's great.
That's Steve's toy. Let me leave it there.
Oh man.
Guys, again, this was a great show, a great awesome podcast, and we had the pleasure of having thank you for giving us the opportunity to have you live with us, and we hope to keep in touch with you on Twitter and all that, and all the other Twitch and all that. So we'll keep in touch and keep up with this great community that everyone builds together. So again, anyone last words, or we're gonna split? We're good.
No, we're good.
Go
Thank
go
y'all for
add
having
Zap
me.
Crystal. Go add her on Instagram so we can watch the guy play the flute.
Oh yeah, give us Instagram.
Find him as, if you can't get enough about that sword, guys, you can find him as Mr. Right Way. I repeat, as Mr. Right Way.
Right way, Mr. Right Way. There we go.
It's the right way.
Hey, guys, we're gonna be headed now. Don't forget to watch Mulan. Came out today. If you're into that,
I'm watching that right after this.
Me
exactly
too.
what I'm doing. All right, guys. You guys have a great night, and this will be the end of the. Actually, let me make sure before I do that, I'm in the proper spot here on my thing here. All right, guys. Well, then this is Gamers Realm. Thank you again, Crystal, and everyone else. Oh, you guys are awesome. And this will be it. And see you guys next time.
All
Good
right,
night,
guys.
everybody.
Take care. Peace.
Peace.
See ya.
Game on.